What's up, football fans? Big news just dropped out of Pittsburgh, and trust me, you're going to want to sit down for this one. The Steelers just made history, and not by winning another Super Bowl, not yet at least. No, today we're talking about money, lots of it, because TJ Watt has just signed a contract extension that officially makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Let that sink in for a second. Highest paid non-QB ever. Now, if you followed the NFL at all over the last few years, you know exactly who TJ Watt is. He's been one of the most dominant defensive forces in the league since he was drafted back in 2017. A sack machine. An unstoppable edge rusher. A guy who offensive coordinators literally stay up at night trying to plan against. And now, the Steelers are paying him accordingly. The deal? A 3-year, $123 million extension with a whopping $108 million guaranteed. That's $41 million per year, shattering the previous record for non-QBs and putting Watt in elite financial territory that previously only quarterbacks had access to. To say this is a big moment for Watt, for the Steelers, and for the NFL as a whole would be an understatement. But what makes this even more interesting is the timing, the context, and the reactions, especially one from a former Steelers player that's been making the rounds on social media. We're going to get into all of that. But first, let's talk about why TJ Watt is worth every single penny of this historic contract. This guy isn't just good, he's a franchise cornerstone. Since 2018, no one in the NFL has more sacks than TJ Watt. Not Myles Garrett, not Nick Bosa, not Aaron Donald, nobody. He tied Michael Strawn's single-season sack record in 2021 with 22.5, and he's done it while being double-teamed, chipped by running backs, and getting attention on every single down. What he brings to the Steelers isn't just statistics, it's leadership, consistency, and that intense, relentless motor that's made him one of the most feared defenders in the league. And let's not forget, the Steelers' defense revolves around Watt. When he's healthy and on the field, the Steelers are one of the most dangerous defensive units in football. When he's out, the entire dynamic changes. He's not just a piece of the puzzle, he is the puzzle. His presence elevates everyone around him. The corners play more aggressive. The linebackers shoot gaps quicker. The defensive line feeds off his energy. TJ Watt is the heartbeat of that team's identity on defense. Now, this contract didn't just come out of nowhere. There's been chatter all offseason about how the Steelers needed to lock him in, especially with training camp right around the corner. And let's be real, Watt knew exactly how to play this. He skipped mandatory minicamp earlier this summer, which raised some eyebrows, but it was clearly a strategic move. He wasn't holding out in the traditional sense. He was making a calculated statement. I'm ready, I'm working, but let's get the deal done. And the Steelers did. Just days before camp opens, they dropped the bombshell extension. It's a huge signal from the organization. They're not rebuilding, they're not coasting. They're going all in. And honestly, with the moves they've made this offseason, it feels like they're gunning for a serious playoff run, and maybe even a Super Bowl push. But the real cherry on top of this news cycle? The reaction from a former Steelers teammate that caught fire online. In a now viral post, he celebrated Watt's contract in the most classic way, by hyping him up, calling him a once-in-a-generation player, and maybe throwing a little playful shade at the front office for not doing it sooner. There's always a little bit of tension between former players and management, but this one felt genuine. You could tell he was proud, not just because Watt got paid, but because he stayed in Pittsburgh to do it. That matters. In an era where players chase money across teams, Watt stayed loyal. He wanted to stay. The Steelers wanted him to stay. And now he's getting compensated at a level that reflects that mutual respect. It's rare, it's refreshing, and for Steelers fans, it's everything they hoped for. And let's talk about the ripple effect this contract is going to have. Watt just reset the market. Completely. Defensive stars across the league are looking at their agents like, yo, did you see that? Guys like Micah Parsons, Jalen Carter, and even players like Max Crosby are about to enter negotiations with this deal in their back pocket. The $30 million a year defender might become the norm, not the exception. It's going to change how teams approach cap space, roster structure, and future extensions. But there's also a bigger message here. The Steelers are telling the NFL, we're not done. They've added major talent this offseason, bringing in a veteran quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, trading for wide receiver DK Metcalf, signing Jalen Ramsey, picking up Jonnu Smith. These aren't small developmental moves. These are win-now decisions. And pairing that kind of offense with a defense led by a locked-in, fully paid TJ Watt? That's a nightmare for the AFC, especially when you remember the Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016. That's a long drought for a team with such a storied history, but the fan base has remained patient, loyal, and hungry. This move? This is ownership, and the front office saying, "We hear you. We want to win now." Now I know what you're thinking. Will this contract age well? Will Watt still be elite at 32, 33 years old? That's a fair question, but based on what we've seen from his training, discipline, and passion for the game, I wouldn't bet against him. TJ Watt isn't the kind of player who coasts after getting the bag. If anything, he's going to double down and prove he was worth every cent. His older brother, J.J. Watt, himself a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, was quick to post about it too. In a tweet that's already been shared thousands of times, J.J. said, "Earned. Deserved. Incredible. Drinks on you from now on, little bro." Classic big brother energy, but the deeper message is there. This isn't just about money, it's about legacy. The Watt family isn't just playing football, they're shaping it. And now TJ has a chance to do what even JJ couldn't, bring a Super Bowl home. He's got the talent, he's got the contract, and with the way the Steelers have loaded up this roster, he might finally have the supporting cast to go deep in the postseason. There's also something poetic about this moment. In a league that's become so QB-driven, where nearly every record-breaking contract goes to a passer, it's refreshing to see a defensive player finally break through that ceiling. For years, defenders have been underpaid relative to their impact. Watt's deal changes that. It reminds everyone that defense still wins championships, and elite defenders deserve elite compensation. And look, Steelers fans already adored this guy. But now, he's entering franchise legend status. Think about the names in that pantheon: Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Troy Polamalu, James Harrison. Watt's not just joining that list, he's carving out a top spot, and he's still only 30 years old. So what's next for the Steelers? Training camp starts in a few days. The energy in Latrobe is going to be electric. Watt will be there, motivated, focused, and richer than ever. And if you think this contract is going to make him complacent, think again. This is a guy who plays every snap like it's the Super Bowl, and now that the front office has shown they're serious, the whole team is going to rise to that level. All right, folks, let me know what you think. Is TJ Watt worth $41 million per year? Will this contract change the league? Can the Steelers finally break their playoff curse and make a real Super Bowl run this year? I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're as hyped about this as I am, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our off-season breakdowns and updates as training camp kicks off.